blast is being felt along the East Coast. 2 people died in Massachusetts when a tree fell on their car. The visibility over Boston Harbor was also near zero for much of the morning. On social media, signs of spring looked more like winter, with tulips sprouting through new snow.
The calendar says April 3rd, but the calendar might be wrong.
Strong winds caused damage in New Jersey. Trees toppled and an empty beach house was blown over in New York. Winds there gusted up to 60 miles per hour. From the Midwest to the Northeast, more than 300,000 people woke up without power.
Ayo cepat. Ayo dia ke sana.
But for residents in Cheongdo City, the temperature dip could mean winter all over again. The same thing is happening in the neighbour Inner Mongolia. It's headache for people on the road, cool temperatures and blooming flowers for spring. That's just what plenty of people are simply hoping for.
Couple of weeks, Youngstown police have been called to over a dozen of these raccoon calls, and all of them have the same report of what they are calling strange zombie-like behavior, and all of them are happening in the middle of the day.
Yeah, see it rotating?
لك الحمد والشكر. هذه بالأسمر، بردية قوية على بالأسمر، وما زالت الأمطار.
This scene is just one of many right across the GTA all day yesterday, with those winds getting up to over 90 kilometers per hour. Now, that wind warning has since been canceled, but it did its damage yesterday, knocking out power to over 21,000 people in Toronto alone. It
Jack, along with so many in the subdivision which surrounds Black Lake and Land O'Lakes, have seen thousands of dead fish on the banks and floating in the water.
Hundreds and hundreds of dead fish.
It all started about the middle of last week. The worst of it is now over, but you can see Monday a lot of dead fish are still floating.
When you see trees like that getting pulled out of the ground, that is a violent tornado.
A massive twister tearing through the nation's heartland on live television.
You're in the path of the storm. You need to be going into your tornado shelter.
All part of the same system that brought these storms to the plains.
It's coming down, it's coming down.
And near the small town of Ray, Colorado over the weekend, this tornado, which looked like it was right out of a movie.
Winter not going away quietly, blasting millions tonight from coast to coast. It looks more like February in South Dakota, 4 inches of snow in Sioux Falls, where wintry conditions caused this plane to slide off the runway. Wind chills in the 20s this morning from Oklahoma to North Carolina. In Oklahoma City, icy roads blamed for more than 24 accidents this weekend. And in Louisville, Kentucky, they're just over it. Down south, 10 reported tornadoes from Texas to Louisiana. A mangled mess of debris outside Shreveport. April storms also slamming the West Coast. In Oregon, strong winds knocked this tree onto a Portland house. Up to 6 inches of rain in Northern California, flooding streets and swelling rivers. In western Pennsylvania, landslide emergency. Route 30 near Pittsburgh collapsed 40 feet. Mud and debris slammed into an apartment complex below. No injuries, but 30 people evacuated.
And we have just witnessed a landslide.
The extent of the damage will be revealed this morning after extreme weather hit most of the North Island last night. Winds of more than 100 kilometres per hour pulled down power lines, leaving many homes cut off. Auckland Airport was forced to close but is now reopened. Further south, the Desert Road is shut due to snow.
Ça c'est vraiment la force tranquille hein.
live desk right now, some wild weather in South Florida. 2 confirmed tornadoes just to our south in Fort Lauderdale. Check out this video. You can see what looks like that funnel cloud. It's right near downtown Fort Lauderdale. The National Weather Service says it knocked over some construction barriers, but no major damage or injuries.
An outbreak of wildfires has most of Oklahoma under a state of emergency tonight. High wind and severe drought are creating blowtorch conditions. At least 1 person has died. More than 200,000 acres have burned. 1,400 people have been forced from their homes.
Subhanallah.
La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah.
Those people are in there.
Well, it's real weak. It's not even knocking over signs, but that's so cool.
We will run it. We got a border spout for a tornado.
Yep.
On it.
Careful for the door. Devastating wildfires are destroying hundreds of thousands of acres in Oklahoma, and now they have turned deadly. A woman was found dead in her car in Dewey County yesterday. That's in western Oklahoma. Wildfires there have burned more than 366,000 acres so far. Meantime, some people are being forced from their homes as this fire spreads.
You know, the island, especially the North Shore, is no stranger to heavy rain, but many longtime residents we spoke to, those who've lived here their entire lives, say this is the worst flooding they've ever experienced. And the kind of extensive damage taking place is just paralyzing different communities on the island.
Koloa, cars underwater. This is not good.
position of Tanzania, as you see.
The rain changing over to sleet and snow right about 5,000 feet. Caltrans crews out in full force, prepared for a long night ahead. And that it did. Flurries flying furiously in some spots, and drivers tonight dealing with more than just snow.
Все, трубу оторвало. И его оторвало. Все, вторая труба не выдержала. Все, сорвало его.
Tumbleweeds by the hundreds have taken over this Victorville neighborhood. This is what it looked like yesterday afternoon as the wind-tossed bushes began to pile up. Residents say it's unlike anything they've ever seen before.
כן, אבל דחף. יאז, טופן שן.
There's nothing like a little snow to get you into the spring spirit, right?
This weather's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
This was the scene in Worcester this morning, where windshield wipers were necessary to clear off the gift our sweet Mother Nature left behind.
It's kind of a shocker seeing how we had like those 2 nice days, those 70-degree days. And at this point, it's just getting annoying.
It is almost the last week of April, at least according to the calendar.
A dozen sinkholes have opened up in the Central Florida subdivision over the past week, enough to drain an entire retention pond and force the evacuation of 8 nearby homes as a precaution. A worst-case scenario is that these sinkholes continue to lose ground to the aquifer below, leaving open the possibility they could continue to grow and eventually merge.
you some perspective of the destruction that this storm caused, Hanalei Pier is unrecognizable. The road is gone, telephone poles, wires, and trees all on the ground. Vehicles lay trapped in the water and sand. With the rain finally coming to a halt, a major multi-agency disaster relief response is underway.
Sunday's deluge, which brought 146 millimetres of rain to the Bay of Plenty, has opened up a giant sinkhole on a farm near Rotorua. Colin Tremaine, who manages the Tumanui farm, says the sinkhole, or tomo, which runs along a fault line, is about 200 metres long, 20 metres wide and 20 metres deep.